Hey, welcome to Restaurants, Profitability and Growth Through a Business-Focused Mindset with Julien Renaut, Belle French Bakery. We're going to wrap. Julien and I really like to get into mindset, so we're going to give you a lot of that. This is Best Served Podcast 407, and if you've watched this show for 500 plus episodes on any of our given channels, you've never seen me sitting next to somebody. Julie and I literally live 6 doors down from each other. 3 years? 3 years you've been here?
3 years, yeah.
And we didn't even know that we were who we were.
Yeah.
Our kids play together
Our
out
kids
in the
play
alley
together.
every single day. And it took, here's shout out to Larry Hers from OCN Eats. I saw a clip of Julia. I was like, God, that guy looks really familiar. Turns out he lives right down the street. We've been making up for lost time. We've been talking about restaurants. We've been talking about our background. We've been talking about the come up with the business, the struggles,
And if I can add,
all of it.
I also saw your videos before, and it never clicked. Never clicked that I know the guy. And then like
We live in like Pleasantville, in the burbs in Colorado. So you don't think like hustler chefs like us when you talk to your neighbor,
and then
So
like even crazier is there is my daughter's birthday, and I invite your kids. Then we're going to the movie theater,
yes,
and you're here with them, and we talk casually.
yeah,
And then like it's a few days after, I think it's when you're
yeah.
like, hey dude, like I know you.
It
And then I'm like, yeah, I've seen you before too. Remind me, we're neighbors. Okay.
we are clearly way too in the zone of what we're doing that when we get home we turn our brains off
Yeah,
and
sorry
didn't
for that.
even realize. So we're going to talk about some big kind of mindset, emotional things, the things that really drive Julien and I, and talk about what Julien has done with Belle French Bakery. You started in the industry 2004, a couple years after me. I started in 2000, so we've been in the game for a long time. 2016, you take your last $10,000 and you say, I'm going to gamble on myself and your skills as a pastry chef and this idea that you have of Belle French Bakery, and you buy a sheeter and a couple pieces of equipment and you start the bakery. And now 7 years you've been that one location. You have a second location in Greenwood Village, DTC,
Yep.
and a third like 2 weeks. We just looked at it
Yep.
yesterday.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
2 weeks away.
Opening in 2 weeks, and then my business starting as a wholesale. So on wholesale, I deliver about roughly 120 locations.
Okay.
So 120 location plus 2 retail. The third one is coming, and so
Man,
yeah.
and opening a second location and now a third, like just on the back of COVID. So people want to know what it took to get there. I want to take people back. I want to talk about the profitability and growth piece of it, because this is something that we struggle with in restaurants. You said something to me that had me shook.
Mhm.
All right. You said that for some reason in the restaurant food business, it is almost like frowned upon to make money. Like we are stuck in this starving artist passion, and we don't actually think about restaurants and cooking and being a chef and being a pastry chef as a business.
That's correct.
And that is absolutely
That's
correct.
correct. Yeah.
I didn't like hearing that because no, I love cooking. It's my expression. It's who I am. So start there. Why the fuck don't we want to make money in restaurants?
So we do. It just is not seen as a place where you should make money or where you're allowed to make money.
Like you're a sellout if you do?
What do you mean? What do you mean by sellout?
Like you're a sellout, like you sell your soul, and that's the only
It
way that you
just
can
like
make money.
if you see somebody in the food industry making money, then you have the customer being like, okay, why do I pay that much?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like, and I can only speak from my experience, but um, in France, when you're in the food industry, you don't make money. And people that do make money, you don't talk about them, or you don't see them, or
Mm-hmm.
they are celebrity, or there is something else. It's not the core of their income is not actually the food.
Okay.
It's more. But the economy is much different over there. So when I came here, I've seen that profitability was much higher in the food industry here, and it is today too. It is more profitable, but the cost of living is different too. So you gotta really analyze the two countries as very different.
Very different.
But I start to see the same thing here because I've been in the States for
You saw that the
16 years.
mindset was the same.
I start to see what's going on in France,
Mm.
because in France back in the day, like time of my parents, food like a restaurateur were making money, like
Okay.
baker were making money.
Even if you had like one restaurant?
Yeah, even one, and you're making money, and probably the same way as USA 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody in the food industry were making money.
You can't have one
It
small
just,
restaurant
it
making money
just,
today.
now it's different.
Yeah.
And why is it different? Of course, that's the economy system is different. The margin shrink and shrink and shrink. And today in America is doing the same thing. Like slowly, slowly, Americans make less and less money. The economy system, again, based on my personal opinion, we put money where elsewhere, and we're not giving back just to the restaurant, and the restaurant industry start to shrink their margin. You're making a lot of money, stuff happens tomorrow, you're
Lots
not
of top
changing.
line.
Yeah, you're not,
Yeah.
you're not changing your business model because there is some laws, or because we have some new taxes going on, because you got to start paying your employee a little bit more. You don't really change your business model, because it's a fraction, but a fraction plus a fraction plus a fraction, at the end,
Bro.
your margin shrink and shrink so much that you don't make any more money.
The people making 3.5%.
And I
You're
think
one
that's,
down month away from closing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you told me, based on the data that you're seeing too, and I'm not surprised. So I see the trend. Like what I have experienced is, as a kid, restaurants, baker were making decent money, but with time they end up not making any money. Like, look, the bakers in France, right?
Even today.
Like today, bakers in France, they don't make shit.
Yeah.
It's almost
And
like,
you can be the best baker
yeah, so
in
the
your
so
region and still
so
not be making money.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's where it's difficult. And I know also some people in France that makes money, but then it's not seen very well at all. And that's why, like, you really have to understand the two countries are different, because you go to a bakery. Again, my industry is bakery, it's not gonna be the cooking. But you go to a bakery, you pay your croissant $1.10.
Mm-hmm.
If it's $1.20, customer will run away to another bakery, because there is so many of them, first of all, and also because the baking is almost like a necessity. It's not like you don't need it to live, well, yeah, the bread maybe, but it's a necessity that people refuse to pay more because it's so common.
So you think bakeries are commoditized, that there are so many options that
But so
they are
now in
very
France, yeah,
price affected?
yeah, now in France, yeah, like a baker that wants to raise his price literally can't, or he's gonna lose maybe like 40% of his customer base,
Yeah.
because there is another bakery 1 mile down the road that serves basically the same type of product, the same quality level.
Sure. So unless you're the best in class in your market, you are playing a price for the customer game, for
You
sure.
do, you do, and I think a lot of people in the food industry, instead of creating their own identity, because
That's
that's
it.
also that's also
That's it.
where it comes from. Instead of creating your own identity, so you can really give value to your customer and have a price that's different than the market. If you don't do that, you fall in the trap where you got to do like everyone else, and if you do, then you're gonna shrink your margin like everyone else, because then you're playing a competition price,
Yeah.
rather than the value that you bring to your customer.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there is the culture of different country, and I think you want to touch base about here, but when it comes to here, yeah, the food industry, people, you don't expect somebody in the restaurant industry to make money, and if you do, then that's because of something else. Another, you don't see them, and
It's almost like they're looked at like slumlords, like they are gouging and overcharging their customers,
yeah,
and they're
like
treating their people like shit,
I,
and they're rolling in dough.
that, or you're like, how come a baker, somebody that makes cakes, can really make money? How
Yeah.
come you cook food, you're
Yeah.
making money?
You're not making Teslas. You're not making Apple phones. You're making humble food.
Yeah, and I think when you look at different industry, you're looking at the I'm going to take the tech industry.
Okay.
Tech. So somebody in tech is going to school, is going to university to learn that. That's something you really have to learn. You can learn
They're
cooking at home,
engineers,
right?
computer science,
And
MBA.
and this is normal. You go to those industry. You have to get a degree. You have school and all of that. You get out, you make money. But there is different type of engineer. There is an engineer that gonna make 3K a month. And in America, 3K a month is very close to minimum wage,
Yeah.
So that, but you can be an engineer and make 15,000 a month. It depends your level. And in the cooking industry is literally the same.
Same.
Uh, Except the type of people that are in the restaurant industry, we don't have degrees.
Yeah.
Or you have the degrees of cooking, but it's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah,
Culinary school.
and especially in the industry,
Yeah.
culinary school is going to help you. That's good. You get some foundation
Yeah.
that's going to help you to go to that workspace.
It sure as shit doesn't teach you how to run a business, though.
It doesn't teach you how to run a business,
And not the business that you need to run today to be able to do that. I want to touch on one more thing, kind of the macro and like this personal thing. You and I both talked about like we know what it's like to be fucking poor,
Yeah,
to be hungry in so many ways. And you said this to me, and I've said this to you, is like we're never gonna feel like that again. We just can't ever feel like that again. And so there's this drive and this hunger. We've also been black sheep, told that we're fuck ups, we're not good enough, this and that.
yeah,
And so there's a little bit of like, I'm gonna show you type attitude
yeah.
and fire a little bit
So
inside you.
there
Talk
is
about those two
yeah,
things that play inside you.
there is proving to people that
Yeah.
you worth more. So on the personal, emotional,
Yeah.
on the emotional portion, that's very relate to me. When you say black sheep, so understand black sheep. What that means as well means that you're doing something that is different that your ancestor or your family.
Yeah, you stand
That
out.
means like your family, they have some values, they have a way of living, they have a vision of what life should be, and either you follow that path of your parents or you don't. And black sheep doesn't mean necessarily like you're doing something bad,
Mhm.
but it means that you're gonna create your own branch of the tree.
Yeah.
You're creating your own branch.
Do
And
you feel like you have less support if that's the case?
100%.
Yeah, right? Or no
100%.
support?
Or no support.
No support.
100%. And I'm very thankful. My family, like, they did not understand me at first, and as I became an adult, they understood.
Now they get it.
But at first, no. At first, is why you do this, why you take so many risks, why you're leaving us, because I also left the country.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not that easy. Um, so then there is the part of you're the black sheep of the family, yeah, and that comes with challenge, and to be, if you want your family to admire you, you really have to make it work. Because if first I try to create my own branch in the family and do my own thing, and on top of that you're not successful,
Mhm.
like that's very bad.
Yeah. Then
Like
they get to, I told you so.
I told you so.
Of course.
So there is that fire, to go to your question. There is that fire that fuel me, of my family. And when I say family, that is doesn't mean the household. My household was very supportive. They did not understand, but they were always supportive. Um, because
The
they just,
community even around them?
no,
Was
oh
it
yeah,
friends
yeah.
and
That's all
family?
my aunts, my uncles, my
Got it.
cousins,
So not your parents and your siblings, but
yeah,
aunts, uncles, neighbors,
yeah, and even to this day, like I'm not even sure they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They probably don't. So
They're like,
they
"Oh, he has a bakery
he has a
in
bakery, and people,
America."
and that's something not just in US, in France, not just in France, but even in US. People, they see La
Sure.
Belle French Bakery, they really think we're small, where we're actually bigger than most businesses.
Yeah.
But this is okay. That's the image that you give to people, and you gotta be accountable to it too.
Well, let's talk about that. So the business
Yeah.
doesn't sell. So that's the foundation. So like I'm going to talk to everyone who's watching this right now, because what we just talked about for the last 13 minutes is really important for everyone to understand. We spend so much time doubting ourselves, our ability. Can I make more money? Can I accelerate in this industry? And we go through this very linear thing where it's like, oh, I was a dishwasher, then a line cook, then I was a sous chef, then I was chef, then I was executive chef, then I was chef owner, then all I wanted to do is be a dishwasher again, and like not have to worry about the headaches of these things. The thing about it though is like you have to find a way to have your trajectory meet the needs that you have as an individual and the cost of those things and the business itself. And if you're running a full service restaurant because you want to be the chef driven like I did, it's really hard to make 10% in a business, 11, 12, 15%. You need to be making 20% at least to be able to have something that's stampable and repeatable.
Mhm.
Your number is even higher than that because you have major growth ambitions. So you have to understand, like, you have to decide that you're in this not just because you love cooking. You have to be in this to be a professional. And if you want to be in ownership, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be in this to make money. Otherwise, you are going to make a lot of decisions that are emotional, that do not make sense when it comes to the actual business. And unfortunately, we had to like learn it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
No, even being the executive chef at places and running some of the numbers,
It's different.
once I got out of it, I
It's
realized
different.
it's completely different.
It's
And
different.
nothing prepared me for running your own business and it being your money and it being you who's accountable.
Yeah.
And so I want to just like impart some nuggets for you. What are the things, kind of top things in your business that you do that's allowed you in 7 years to have a really successful wholesale? Now you have 3 retail, and I know you're looking to open maybe 2 a year for the next few years. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I'm working already on the 4th and 5th
Of
next year.
course you are.
So it's already going. I think the key, because there is so much you could talk for hours about all this,
We
but
probably will.
the key,
You're gonna see Julien and I talking a
yeah,
lot more. But for now, what's the high level thing that is
the
gonna
high
break
level,
things?
be honest with yourself.
That's it.
Be honest with yourself, because you like you go in business, you need to have a profitable business. If you're not taking even the time to look at your number, like
Yeah.
you're screwed. And we say that because that's so cliche. Look at your numbers. But most people don't.
No.
Most people don't. Like, this is crazy. Like,
And if they do, they look at 2 numbers. They look at food cost and they look at labor cost, because we've also incentivized people by giving bonuses on those, that they've like manipulated these tiny numbers,
but
but
the,
there's an entire business.
but this is what why I'm saying, like, be honest with yourself, because yeah,
Yeah,
there is a lot to it. Like, obviously, like, and let me give you a good example.
please.
Are you buying, like, what's the process of buying a house? When you want to buy a house, you're looking at what? You're looking at your income,
Yeah,
you're looking at your expense,
yeah,
and you're looking if you're going to be able to afford it.
yeah.
And then there is the mortgage, but there is also the escrow account that you need to put money on. There is that goes for the taxes, but homeowners insurance.
Mhm.
Then there is the electricity, there is the water, there is everything. Who is, like, people that don't look at those, or either you make a lot of money and you don't care, that's fine, that's an option, but
We're
most
in
likely,
restaurants, so that's not our audience yet.
most likely it's
Yet.
not. You got to look at that.
Yeah.
So when you're buying, if you're opening a restaurant and you don't take the time to look at what's going to be your expenses affiliated with that, you're already fucked. You're already fucked. Like, you gotta be honest with yourself. Look at everything. Like, it's your money. You need to respect. Look at it. You need to respect your money
Yeah, that's it.
the same way you respect your food.
Yeah.
And that's probably, like, what's
It's at the core of it.
the big key is, when you're in the food industry, you care so much about the food, and you care so much about your customer,
Yeah.
that you do everything for them, but you
Yeah.
forget yourself as well in the process.
100%.
So
That's why we're
you're
working 70 hours, 80
and
hours a
that's why
week.
you're giving, but you don't take anything for you.
Yeah.
It's okay to take.
Yeah.
It's okay to take. You have
Say that again.
you,
Say that again.
it is okay to take
You hear
from
him,
your business.
please.
This is normal. This is part of why you're building it for.
Yeah.
You, like, I don't know any chef that opened a restaurant just for pleasure and doesn't want to make any money. You have to make some money in order also to feed your needs.
Yeah.
This is so normal. So
And to
why?
play that infinite game so you can keep doing it.
Absolutely. So, and how do you do that? It's not because
Yeah.
you make a good sandwiches that you can be a good chef but don't make any money. And that's the big problem of restaurant industry. Is it's like they're gonna go with whatever they've been told. Oh, I need to make 10% profit. But that we talked about it. Like, that just doesn't work.
Not a chance.
10% profit is not enough. Most likely for any type of business. Or if it is, you need a huge volume. Huge volume.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so there is ways as well, but you need to understand what you're doing. And if what you're doing is a full service restaurant, or a full service bakery, or even half service,
Yeah.
because I'm more in the half
Yeah,
service.
a little hybrid.
But at the end, you need to have enough money, because your business needs, like, you're not the only one that needs money.
Yeah.
Your business needs money,
Your business needs
because
money.
your business, something's gonna break, something's gonna get fucked. You're gonna spend a lot more in employee, because you have rotation of employee.
Yeah.
And you need
Property taxes and
and you
this.
need that money to grow as well.
Yeah.
You need that money to grow, because your inventory costs money and all of that. Like, if you don't grow, then you can just pay yourself whatever is your profit, and that probably could work. And I would even debate on that, because there is stuff that comes with that unexpected.
Yeah. For sure.
But otherwise, if you want to grow a business,
Yeah.
so there is difference between growing your business and
just
stabilize your
sustaining
business.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow your business, you need to make more money than what you're gonna take from it.
Yeah. Yeah,
As
100%.
simple as that.
And I think this is something I've talked about before, the chef-driven restaurant, something that I was a part of kind of cultivating in Denver specifically, where we were a bunch of misfits. All of a sudden, Food Network and other things told us we were really cool. So then all of a sudden there was money in the system. People were investing a lot of money in restaurants, and they were investing a lot of money in us. And all of a sudden we were popular, cool kids, and I didn't know how to handle it. And all of a sudden our kitchens and our restaurants got bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden 50% of our footprint was our kitchen. And we basically bought ourselves, a sports car, and then had no money to put gas in it, and it just
That's a
fit
good
there.
that's a good
It just
analogy.
fits there,
It's a good analogy.
and there's no gas for it. And so taking that money and being able to funnel it into profitability and then growth, to your point, are two different things. You have to start with profitability.
Yeah.
And I think also we started to think about growth before we thought about profitability. And I've seen this a lot where you have one successful restaurant, you go to open a second one, and the second one you make all the mistakes because you don't think about it, you don't look at your numbers, you just look at the hype,
Because you're not there too.
and you can't be at both
Like,
places.
yeah,
And all of a sudden, location two sucks all of the life out of location one, and you close both of them.
yeah. So and you earlier I was saying, like, be honest with yourself.
That's right.
Why would you think that opening a second location will be exactly the same as the first one? Or
Va-
why or why
Vanity.
or why do you think your second location will work as good as the first one?
Yeah.
And so that's also reality.
Yeah.
You can't grow and be in the kitchen 100% the same way you were in your first one. So the accountability of knowing what you're doing comes to place. And most of chefs, and that's the reality in general, most of chefs were not educated about
Mm.
this. And that's why it's not necessarily like, oh, like, you don't know about it, you should know. But at least you know that the doing this type of project are very difficult,
So difficult.
and
Yeah.
you need to have knowledge, otherwise you get fucked, man. Like, you get
Real.
you get really fucked. And the first one is with your lease.
Yeah.
Like you open a shop, you open a restaurant, or you open a business, and you're doing everything yourself. If you have to go to town, because I was in that situation where I couldn't spend money, I had to do everything by myself. But then once you have enough money, be strategic where you spend it, because it's still your money. It's the same, even if it's a business account. You hear that, oh, it's business money. Like, no, it's your money.
Oh,
Money. It's your money. But then, like, know where you spend it, because the first thing you got to do is lease a place.
yeah.
Leasing, people get fucked all the time,
The
man.
amount of bad leases that I read is unbelievable to me.
And that's an example. Like,
Unbelievable.
so if you're not good at it, if you don't want to read it, most people don't even read it. I can
Yeah.
tell you that, because, like, I don't. My last lease, like, my business partner took 2 days to read it, just to read it, just to read it.
Let's stay there for a moment. You brought in a CFO. You had to learn all the numbers, figure out the hard way, and you realized, you know what? I'm the visionary type. I want to be focused on guest experience. I want to be focused on the culinary side.
Yeah.
We're going to show you a clip of him getting on the culinary
Yeah.
side here in a minute. You needed somebody to sit there and spend 2 days looking at a fucking lease, which
Yeah.
is the right amount of time.
And that's something
to
I
do
would
it.
never do. And I
Yeah.
know that. So the choice to partner was not because I lack of skills per se. It's, you have to admit where you're the best
Yes.
in your industry, and what your daily life wants to look like. I don't want to sit on my computer every day and look at numbers, because there is a lot of numbers.
There's a lot of
If you
man,
want to do it well,
especially
there
with
is a
three locations.
yeah, there
Got
is
to
a,
be a lot more
yeah,
numbers.
there is a lot of numbers. So
Yeah.
once I met people that were business minded and wanted to do something with their money, this is when I took the opportunity to partner. Yeah, and now it's been 2.5 years, and in
Nice.
2.5 years, man, like it's gold.
Yeah.
It's gold. My
That
business partner is awesome. Like,
that's
and
something
he
for
does.
everyone. Again, this is something that we do. We wear so many hats as entrepreneurs, as leaders in the restaurant business, as chefs. Let's say we wear so many hats. And at first, you need to wear a lot of hats because you don't have the money, you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the history, you don't have the understanding of everything that your business is. As soon as you have an understanding of your numbers
Yeah.
and you're honest with yourself and have your own strengths, don't think about it like, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, don't think about it like you're running away from your weaknesses. It's like you're running towards your strengths.
Like, fuck, I want to know my weaknesses.
You know,
Like,
I think it's great to know
yeah.
those and
So
then embrace them, because I don't think asking for help is a weakness I think it's the biggest strength that somebody can show, but in our industry, we've been told, "Fake it till you make it." You can't ask for help because
Um,
otherwise you'll be exposed.
man, people they like I heard that's something in US. I don't, in France we don't say that,
Oh, wait, man, we
but
live on that.
In US we say fake it until you make it. No,
Don't do it.
no, because you look like a douchebag afterwards.
Just ask for help, and then you find people like your
Uh,
CFO who then you go, "Okay, now it makes sense to me that this person is meant to do these things. This is what they
yeah,
like
and
to do."
this is again this is cliche. Ask for help. Like we always say that and stuff, but it doesn't mean you need to ask for help for everything. You just like again be honest with
Yeah,
yourself. Like for me, I analyzed. I was like, yeah, I can do this, and you would ask my business partner now. He would tell you like, Julien, you know how to do it. Actually, you get
right.
it, but. I got to make a choice. I'm working already like 50 hours a week. I would say that's the average. To not lie about it, I've done 80 hours a week. It's not sustainable. You don't want to do
Nope.
that. And I push when I got to push, and when I don't push, I just don't push. But we
You
have
get out of the way when you get out of the way.
oh yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
think that's great.
yeah. And then we have limited amount of energy to give.
Yeah.
Like understand your brain. You can focus on stuff only for a limited time, and some people can focus longer than others. That is fine, but you have so much energy, you cannot give it to all the places in once.
But we have this tough guy, tough gal mentality that I'm gonna grind and grind and grind.
Yeah,
First one in,
yeah,
last one out.
yeah.
Man,
And
it
again,
always catches up
and
with you.
some people are like that. This is what they're looking for, this is their drive, and if this is great,
Yeah.
that's fine, but you're gonna be limited. And that's something I did not understand even 3-4 years ago. You would have told me that, I would have said, no, I can handle a lot, I can
All
do
of
it,
it.
I can do it. But now I realize that if you look at the big picture, my energy is better. uh, it's more beneficial
Yeah.
to put it where I put it now. And that's why, like, you need
Easy.
employees with true skills in order so they can do the job that you want them to do, because you're still that's the thing too. It's not because you ask for help that you're
Mhm.
not in control. Those are two different things.
That's good.
Like you can ask for help
Facts.
and just being the like blind spotted, and you don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
I know exactly what's going on in my
Yeah, you're
business.
delegating.
100%. Delegating is different than asking for help. And I do delegate, and I do my job as a leader to verify that what I'm asking is done.
That's it.
and
Trust but verify.
and then 100%. And I want my staff to be successful, so their success become my success.
Yeah. You,
And
you use a dirty word a lot in restaurants. You use the word SOP a lot, and I fucking love it
I love
because we
SOPs.
have to have SOPs.
I love
Because now
SOPs.
when I talk to chefs, they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm working 70 hours a week, and I'm this and I'm that, and I always got to be there to make sure everything's going right." And I was like, I used to think that working 70 hours a week was a badge of honor. Now I think of it as I was not that good at my job. If I was better at my job, then I would have been able to empower more people to be able to do the things that I thought I had to be there to do.
Yeah,
And
but
that's the
again,
piece.
this is a mindset, because what you're saying now reminds me, when I was in France, there is a baker I used to work with, never use a timer, never. He put in the oven and he has his flow. Of course, he's skilled. He has his flow and all of this. So then he always pick up the bread when he looks good, and that's fine. Like cooking, you can also judge that. You don't need to marinate a specific amount of time. You can
Mhm.
just leave it and you get it. You're good. But the problem is when you want to scale. If you don't scale, okay, you can do that. That's fine. And every once in a while, you're gonna burn your bread. Okay, not big of a deal if that's the only mistake you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you want to scale, you can't count on one employee to be there forever. And if the employee is not there forever, you gotta create SOP. So
Yeah.
then the next person that's gonna take the job knows how to do it without you having to do it again.
So it doesn't become you
It doesn't become me, because
being that employee. Yeah.
if every time we lose an employee, I have to go back to reshow it, man, I this is only what I do. And then I'm in the kitchen every day.
I've,
I can't do that.
I've seen that so
I
many
can't do that.
times. Let's talk about what you're worried about. You're getting to the third location.
Yeah.
Where does your attention need to be as you're literally 2 weeks from opening your third location? Now you're stretching yourself, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Where's your attention?
Yeah. So
Worried is maybe the wrong word, but where's your attention because there's the potential for success or failure in
yes,
some of those.
100%. So for that new location, like we did the work we had to do in uh, being convinced that we will bring enough business to make it work. So that worry is already out. that shop to me is gonna work. We put the effort to it. We learn from our previous location, so that location should be better. So that's definitely not where is my attention, because I have a developer that's taking care of building the shop. We work with contractor that do also all the job. We have a designer, and all of that is like the build up of the shop. We got it. I don't want to say easy, but
Yeah,
it's not where I need my attention.
but it's dialed at this point.
Yeah, it's
So again,
already
you can
set.
just check on benchmarks to make sure
Yes,
things are progressing properly, being
absolutely,
handled properly, but you
absolutely.
know you
And
can
right now,
trust that.
I want it to open in September. That ended up being December. I'm still satisfied because there is always a delay, always all the time in construction.
So it's harder, takes
But
longer, and costs more money.
it's not a year.
It's not a year.
It's few months. So
You're
that
you're still in 23.
yeah, and that really shows that actually we were prepared. We know what we're
Right.
doing. So
I was
that's good.
giving you shit when I saw a video of it. I was like, January 8th. You're like, no fear.
Before, and I still don't know. Like we get
Of course.
inspection coming, so we'll see. But my intention is what we do now
Yeah.
and the business we have now to keep it as good
Yes.
as it should be.
You
Because I
can't just
can't.
look at the shiny new thing.
No,
Yes.
if I look at the new shop, then I don't respect my current customer.
Yes.
And we're not where we are just because of us. Of course it's our work. Of course it's like I did this.
Yeah.
I did label, so I know like I'm where I'm supposed to be because of the work I did. But a lot in the equation is also customer value, giving value to what you're doing.
Of course.
And we have customer every single day buying our product. This is where my attention is, to make sure that doesn't slide away, like that doesn't we don't fuck up.
That somebody else doesn't swoop in and steal them because you're not showing them love. You're not paying attention to them.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that means keeping my focus on my operation, and then like the extra shop is just like a next, like we just sell more.
Yeah.
But if I put all my focus on that, then I forget the rest. You can't do that.
It's almost like thinking about adding a patio onto your existing location. You're just creating more opportunity for growth, but you're not putting yourself in a position where all of a sudden you have to be thinking about this separate business and that it's divergent. What I mean by that is sometimes people think of this operates this way and this operates this way. And the reality is like they have to be an extension of each other.
Yeah.
They have to learn and feed each other.
Even if this is complicated, it's also super easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we overthink everything. And I'm gonna take the example of the house I gave you earlier. If you add an extra room to your house, doesn't mean that the rest of the house you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So adding an extra room gives you like,
unless it's a really sweet man cave.
Right. And then you go always there.
Gone.
But if you put all the energy into something new, then everything you build is gonna fall. So and actually like even more precise, because now that we're talking, I get to think a little bit too. More precisely, I'm making sure that all my foundation are very solid. Or the foundation very solid. So that's working with all my executive and my managers to make sure that everything stays solid, and reinforcing the structure to make sure there is no weak link into the operation. That's right now, that's my focus. Because we can't sell more if the operation is not working properly.
Yeah, you can't build a castle on top of clay pots, and that's what a lot of times we end up doing. All right, last thing. Again, Julien and I could literally talk for hours. We have talked for hours and hours about this stuff, which is great. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more of this, I'm sure. I want to touch on what you just said about kind of the guest experience side of it, and then this new business, and you knowing you can make the business. When we looked at the location, you said you're in a predominant kind of like strip mall. You're kind of off to the side. You're near a busy road, but people are driving by so fast, maybe they don't see. We kind of like talked about that for a second. And you said, look, this location isn't going to be what gets people here. We have to be able to get people here. We have to have the brand to be able to get people here. So I want to show everybody real quick a little of this brand, because if you don't already, I had it running for a long time. Follow at Belle French Bakery and Renaut Julien on Instagram. You're doing great on the videos. I love the videos.
I have fun. Huh?
You're having fun. And Alex and I have both said this, your partner, that's you got to like let yourself out, right? There was something we saw, like she said you were acting a little bit, and
she can tell when I'm not.
She's like not being you, and like I see you more and more kind of like being yourself, where you're like you're fucking serious and focused, and then you're goofy also, and there's like
Yeah.
this like balancing act between them. So
Because that's me. Like that's definitely who I am. I like
let's
to be
check this.
goofy and laugh as well and be serious too.
You're making fucking
It's a
croissants
it's an
and
option.
stuff.
What's happening? What's happening? Hey, hey, it's boy Lil Jon. Pick your meat click. What's up, phony? What's happening? Hey, let's go. Happy Bengals. Do your thing.
Yes. Yes. So definitely check them out on Instagram and on TikTok for sure, because it's good. You're just you have to create that brand identity, and you're really showing people kind of the craft of it and the art of it. And those chocolate croissants, like your croissants, are really really good. You know, so like you have that craft in there, but you're also a machine. Like you guys
Yeah.
have a really really strong system
Yep.
behind it, so that you guys can execute at the highest level. And you've even said there's certain points where you could be the chef mind and be like, I'm going to make this the best, the best, the best. And it's like, wait, I'm going to make this the most value possible.
Yeah.
And that conversation is important. So tell me about the brand. What
Well,
is the brand Labelle expressing? Why do you need those videos and everything that you're doing from an experiential standpoint when people come to the bakery, when they buy from you wholesale, that's going to have that third location and the fourth and the fifth and the 16th
yeah.
be successful because
Yeah.
you're driving brand?
I think there is multiple layer to that. The first
So
layer,
many.
yeah, there is many layers. But the first one that I think about is to always stay true to myself. That means that I can't create something that I know is going to work
Yeah.
because I'm in the American market and it's going to work in my market. I refuse to do that. And sometimes I have some ideas that are brought to me, we're seeing. You've seen the croissant that they are like a circle,
Sure. Yeah.
okay, and they're filled up and stuff. There was a big hype about it. And if I make that tomorrow, yeah, I'm gonna sell them all. I know that,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do
That's
that
not your brand.
because as a chef, it's literally a copy of someone else. I want to be inspired from others, not I don't want to copy. It's not the same. And I want to be able, like, oh yeah, this idea I got it from this chef that did this, and they can inspire me to do that. That I'm okay with. So I label brand will not compromise.
Yeah.
Just to adapt to the market or something we don't want or doesn't respect our identity. That's the first thing. The second thing is um, I want to make sure that the experience is as authentic as possible because it's so easy to put the French name and then like you're going and then it's disappointment.
For anybody who hasn't been, and for anybody who has, a lot of people are going to go in there and not be able to read a lot of what the items are because they are not translated.
Yeah, I put them in French. I'm like, no, that's the way I would do
And
it.
even when we were listening to this, like even when we were looking at the signage that they're going to be putting up, I was like, so it's going to say Labelle Bakery, and then I was about to say Labelle French Bakery, and he like bit my head off. He's like Labelle French Bakery all the time, only always,
Yeah,
and it made sense to me. You were vehement about it because that is the brand, and that French side of it is like speaking to who you are, but
yeah.
you're not compromising that.
But
Even if you're doing playful things and maybe
yeah,
something that's not quote unquote traditional,
mhm.
it's still through your lens of
But that's
being
because
French.
and like you said, like those videos, I do it because first I get inspiration. Look on Instagram right now, there is a ton of chefs that do this,
Yeah.
and that gave inspiration, obviously. And then we're like, okay, let's
Like,
do
I
it
can
our
do that.
style. Yeah, yeah, and then it's super fun.
Yeah.
First of all, it's super fun. So I still do it. I still do it. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
I still do it because I enjoy a lot.
But I
And
also have seen at least one, maybe two of your people on there as
yeah,
well. So you're letting
because
them get the
that's
stage a little bit too.
because otherwise it's too much. I
Because you
cannot do
can't
that
do
every
two
day.
videos.
So now
That's good.
the idea is that I'm doing the monthly special because those I create them 100% and everything that's already on the menu that we're doing
And then you
another
just
reel.
launched the
I
sandwiches
can
and all that. So you had to
yeah
do a lot of content around
yeah
that.
then I can have my stuff definitely, but to be on camera like this, it needs to be earned. It needs to be
Uh,
earned. Because otherwise, if it's stuff gets too easy, people, and I feel like you work for me, but you're gonna represent Label, so you're gonna represent me.
yeah.
So it needs to be earned.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see much other people. And then uh, the spirit of Label, and that's I talk to all my employees, and I know that if they watch that, they're gonna be like, yeah,
cheering, laughing, and rolling their eyes.
Nah,
There
but you need to enjoy what you're
You
doing,
have to.
man. Like I go in the kitchen, if there is some people I can see they're not feeling, I can see they're dragging, this is just a job, they don't give a shit. I can't take it. I can't. So there is the promise to myself is that people in the kitchen are passionate about what they're doing, they enjoy what they're doing, and we
You
are
need to show them that.
yeah, and we're spreading a very positive attitude about it as well, because again, I don't want the best chef, I want the chefs that are going to find themselves very similar in the brand of Label. Yeah, they need to believe in my project, what I'm doing. Like I don't want to grow business just to grow business. There is behind that too, you know. So the brand of Label is also like accepting people for who they are, because I was judged, you know.
Yeah.
Again, like we talk, we go back to black sheep, you know. But I get
Full circle.
judgments. I get judgments. So of course, like I like, to me that's super important that people don't get judged for that. I want to show a true leadership. Like you have people working for you. They like think of it for a second. People choose you,
Yeah.
the business that you created,
Yeah.
to take money and do their life.
It's like a mini marriage.
But
They
this
chose
is
you.
no, but this is crazy. Like, and people don't realize that, oh, I have employees and stuff, and they forget. They forget when they first starting the business. Like you had a restaurant, right? Like if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
the first time you hire people and they work for you, the emotion that they give you, this is nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be responsible to pay those people and make sure your business stay alive so they can keep.
It's so scary and
their life.
exciting at the same time.
And that's something I can't forget. So everyone that is in my business, I'm so thankful, and I'm not scared to say it. This is leadership number one. Be thankful that people step in the door, you know. And once they're in the door, they show commitment and they like what they're doing. Build them up. Like this is like, to me, so important to rise people. Because if they rise, is that correct English to say that? If they rise,
yeah. They rise, raise them up, lift them up.
Yeah, if they rise, first, if for your business is great, but on top of that, on the human relationship, that's the best. That's like when I have an employee telling me like, hey, thank you for all the training you give me because now I'm a better professional.
It's the best.
Man, yeah, of course.
That's the best.
So that you can forget, and that's the experience Label.
Yeah.
Like people at
on
Label,
both sides, the guests and
people at Label
employees.
are happy to be here. If they're not happy, they're not gonna stay here. You know, that's just a fact. Because so when we hire people, the number one is your attitude.
Yeah,
it's your attitude.
That's
like if you're a jerk, I don't care if
you
you're
can train
the best.
everything else. You can train everything else. Sometimes people have too many of the hard skills. So you have to untrain them because you have a certain way.
100%. And we know that as
can't teach character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And communication and
absolutely. So once we have the right people, we train them well.
Just inspire it.
Yeah.
Keep nurturing it. Fuel
100%,
it. Put fuel in that sports car.
100%.
That's mic drop. That's it. Everybody. Amazing. Once again, this is Best Served Podcast 407. Restaurant profitability and growth through a business focused mindset, but really it's still a human experience.
100%.
Right. And the connectivity between that human experience, your own as the entrepreneur and the leader and the visionary, and your employees who you are responsible for. They don't work for you. You work for them, basically, is what I hear in that. And know your numbers.
Yeah.
Those seem at odds with each other, but man, you figure out that secret formula there.
You work for people after some milestone that you reach. Because people don't understand that too. You work for people. No, they work for me. Yes, of course they work for me. But you get to that where you understand that giving your knowledge to your staff is what's going to grow your business. That's when you work for them. When they're at the stage, when they're in the stage where they have to learn, so your business get benefits from it.
What he said. Julien Renaut. That's it, everybody. We want to hear your stories as well. Are you trying to grow? What's happening in your businesses? As always, hit us up on social media, Best Served Podcast at Jensen Cummings. Hit up Renaut Julien on Instagram. Hit up Belle French Bakery. I know this guy's helped out some other bakeries as well. So like he's a wealth of information. And even though he's hustling all the time, I've never not texted him, called him, grabbed him in the alley as he's trying to, duck into the house, always willing to answer a question. And that's what it takes.